Welcome, welcome, welcome. I would like to welcome you to episode 293 of the Unpopular Podcast. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Jalen Hunter. And here at the Unpopular Podcast, I'm not really asking you to agree with me. I'm just asking you to hear me out. And what we're going to start this show off is just have a little conversation. Have a conversation about media. And have a conversation about why the media does what it does. We know this, but let's talk about it. So LeBron James came out and asked the media a question the other day. I didn't talk about it here because I didn't really know how to address it as much, but now we're here. There was a photo of Jerry Jones back when he was like 14 or 15 or something in Arkansas. And he was in a group of Caucasians in Arkansas trying to prevent African Americans from coming into a school. He was in the picture as an onlooker, or in the group with the white people. And of course, it happened, and the media, I think the Washington Post released it or something like that, and it's been fairly quiet. And LeBron James asked a question to the media the other day: why is it that when Kyrie Irving posted what he posted about the documentary and had to do everything for the Brooklyn Nets, got suspended, why is it that the media couldn't stop talking about Kyrie and couldn't stop asking questions to the players about Kyrie, but nobody asks about Jerry Jones? Or it seems like, and LeBron didn't say this, but I'm going to add on to it, it seems like the media done forgot about Brett Favre. I will be the first to admit that I work in sports media, and LeBron James is absolutely correct about what sports media, what they choose to talk about and what they choose to ask. It's bigger than sports media. It's media in general. You see, it has been known and it has been clear that how different all forms of media cover African Americans compared to cover white people. You see, when a black person does something wrong, they're a criminal, they're a thug. It was meant to be. Look at where they come from. This was going to happen. He's a menace to society. When a white person does something, he's lost. He's confused. They have absolutely no idea how this could have happened. And that's not just in crimes. I was very clear on this show when I talked about Kyrie Irving, and I said what he thinks he did may not have been wrong. And what a lot of people think he did wasn't wrong. All he did was promote a documentary that had anti-Semitic rhetoric in it. But I did say he offended people. And on top of that, he should apologize for it. I didn't say he should lose Nike endorsements. I didn't say he should he should have been, I get suspended, but have the whole list. I didn't like the list of demands pretty much. But I did say he should apologize because he offended some people. And of course he ultimately did. And that's where it should have stopped. The coverage of, now I do think that the coverage of Kyrie was hella intense. A lot more intense than what he did. But LeBron James is absolutely right. Now, let me give my opinion on the Jerry Jones picture. I think that Jerry Jones is like 60, 70, 80 years old, something like that. In this picture when he was 14. I do think that you are able, we should allow growth. We should allow somebody to understand the effects of effects of what they did or effects of their problem, and they should be able to learn and grow from it. That is what I think the jail system should be, rehabilitation. While they say it's rehabilitation, it should. And I'm not saying Jerry Jones should be in jail. What I'm saying is this happened when he was 14 or 15, whatever the report says. That means he should be able to grow. He should be able to learn from his mistakes or learn from what he did and grow. What I didn't like was his example or was his explanation of the situation, saying I was just an onlooker just like I am now. Like, bro, no. But this is a sphere that has been tightly knit. Because again, Jerry Jones really didn't apologize. He just said I was an onlooker. I don't think I was 14 or 15. Like, I don't pretty much get over it. He didn't say get over it, but he had more of a nonchalant, like, hey, it was 14 years old. It is what it is. And that's acceptable to people. Kyrie Irving said, I can't be anti-Semitic because I know where I come from. And then people got upset when he actually apologized because it came after his money got hit. And there's people to this day that can't forgive Kyrie Irving. This isn't more of a I'm not saying this to say get over it. I'm saying this to shine light on the fact of the media plays a huge part in how people see people. How black people see white people, how white people see black people. Media plays a huge part in that today. Now, yes, we know about the history, but media plays a huge part today. You think, and I said this when it happened, you think people would have easily forgot about Brett Favre if the media, sports media, wherever media you want to talk about, do you think they would have so easily forgot about Brett Favre if we talked about Brett Favre as much as we talked about Michael Vick with the dogs? And if you ask me, I love dogs, but if you ask me what Brett Favre did, stealing from the poorest state in the United States for a volleyball court, compared to somebody fighting dogs, I think more coverage maybe should go to the guy stealing from poor people. LeBron James is absolutely right. And it's everywhere, man. I really don't have a point that I'm getting to. I really don't have an ending to this segment. Because it's absolutely true. And LeBron James said it. He said it so profoundly without saying anything, but stating a fact of LeBron James is probably the most recognizable sports figure in America. I mean, who do you got? Maybe Tiger still, Serena. LeBron James is probably the most recognizable sports figure in the world. One of, at least. And the fact of they continue to ask him questions about Kyrie. Or they'll ask him about They'll ask him about, let's say, Antonio Brown. But they'll stay eerily silent when we talk about Jerry Jones. And again, I think it happened a while. It happened 60 some years ago, bro. And I think people can change. But I don't like the explanation that Jerry Jones gave, which, by the way, wasn't an apology. The same thing Kyrie Irving did. But one was accepted. The other one wasn't. Shit, I still ain't heard an apology from Brett Favre. In fact, Brett Favre has continued to double and triple down on he ain't done nothing. Yet and still, people still to this day ask questions, ask Mike Vick about dogs, or talk about T.O. And T.O. did absolutely nothing off the field. All his antics were on the field, and it weren't that bad. He was just cocky. But they still talk about T.O. in the same light that they talk about Brett Favre. Why do you think that is? The media plays a part in everything. Social media, regular media, news, sports, entertainment, it plays a big part. Why do you think people pay so much money for commercials? Why do you think commercials are so expensive during the Super Bowl? Because everyone's watching them. I guess where I can conclude this is we have to be better. Media. I'm speaking to the media now because I do work in sports media. We have to be better. The problem is, and the worst part about this whole situation is, people know they pay millions, they spend millions and millions of dollars on stats and on research of how to connect with people, or how to get a click, or how to get a view, how to get a watch, how to get a listen. They spend millions upon millions because that is where they make their money. So when I say that the media has to do better, it won't, because it knows what makes it money. Why do you think when you watch the daily news, 95% of it is bad? Because contrary to popular belief, people like to hear about bad things that happen. It's entertaining to them. Whether you don't like the feeling you get, but people care about bad things that happen. That's where most of their views come from. Controversy is what sells. Which is why we are here where we are. The fact of it feels like the media is just hella silent. And I'm not saying, Jerry Jones should be reprimanded, but what I am saying is that the media should take that photo, whether it was 50, 60, 70 years ago, should take that as seriously as Kyrie Irving promoting an anti-Semitic documentary. But they're not. Money also plays a part. Power plays a part. Jerry Jones is a more powerful player in this sports world than Kyrie Irving, unfortunately. I will conclude this segment by saying this. It is, LeBron James said it without saying it, and he was absolutely correct. There is a disproportionate amount of coverage, negative coverage, on African American athletes, African American players, African American people in general than it is to Caucasians. And the media is more harsh on an African American player slipping up than it is for a white person committing a crime. And I'm not just speaking on sports media, I'm talking about media in general. Because again, and the last thing I will say before we move on, think about it. How much coverage did Kyrie Irving get for the anti-Semitic and the suspension and even think about, listen to the aggression that a lot of media people said. Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, the NBA Today crew, Jalen and Jacoby, Nick Wright, Chris Broussard, all these, and I'm not like saying shun them. I'm saying look at the energy that they gave for Kyrie Irving. And all he did was promote. Now, yes, what I think he did was wrong to a certain extent, but what he did was promote a documentary that, by the way, the CEO of Amazon came out and said there's absolutely nothing wrong with the documentary being on Amazon, and they aren't going to take it off. How much energy did they give to Kyrie Irving? Then think about how much energy did they give to Brett Favre, and not just the fervor of the energy, but the amount of it, and how long that energy lasted. That should tell you everything you need to know right there. LeBron said it without saying it, but he was absolutely correct. Let's move forward. So Thursday Night Football happened, and the Buffalo Bills beat the Patriots 24-10. This isn't really a surprise. The Buffalo has won like the last 6 or 7 straight or something like that from the or I think like maybe 4 or 5 straight actually against the Patriots. Josh Allen threw for 233 yards, 2 touchdowns. I know he had a lost fumble. There's not really much that needs to be talked about this game, except for, I mean, this is yet another game where the Patriots offense looked anemic. Mac Jones threw for 195 yards, 1 touchdown. It was, I mean, the run game, 10 carries for Ramondre Stevenson for 54 yards. It was bad. I mean, look, Bill Belichick will go down as not arguably, in my opinion, will go down as the greatest NFL coach ever, in my opinion. He falls in that rare air of, Bill Belichick and NFL. You can say Greg Popovich, in my opinion, in the NBA. College football, you have, Nick Saban. In college basketball, I don't know, maybe Phil Knight, I don't know. But that doesn't negate what we're seeing now. And what we're seeing, in my opinion, is a malpractice to the fullest degree of how to operate a team. That doesn't take away from the legacy that Bill Belichick has, but what we're seeing is crazy. There's no way that you can look at this New England Patriots team and think to yourself, we're doing quite fine without an offensive coordinator. In fact, I think that out of 32 teams, I think the Patriots is the only team that does not have an offensive coordinator. Like a legit offensive coordinator calling offensive plays, not a Matt Patricia who's a defensive person calling plays, or Bill Belichick who's known for his defense calling plays. And it's one of the biggest things I was talking about is consistency. And it's hard to be consistent when there's nothing consistent around you. and I'm not comparing Mac Jones to these people, but think about Patrick Mahomes and the consistency he has in Kansas City with Andy Reid, with Eric Bieniemy, with that staff, or Joe Burrow and the consistency, even though Zach Taylor be kind of tripping sometimes, the consistency he has and how he's flourishing. Now, yes, talent is a thing, but look at the consistency. Look at the situations. You think, hell, he's not even the best player in the world, and we so eloquently talk about his 1 p.m. games. But look at the consistency that Kirk Cousins is having right now, and how once you get a comparable coach, what it looks like, even with a marginally good quarterback. Mac Jones has regressed wholeheartedly since his first year. And I don't think it's because Mac Jones isn't good. Because if he isn't good, what did we see his first year? It's because the inconsistency in his ear, and the fact that the person that's calling offensive plays is not an offensive minded coach or an offensive coordinator. Now, yes, there are some teams, i.e. the 49ers, where the head coach is pretty much the person that is in charge of the offense. Hell, same as the Rams and Sean McVay. But there's a difference between Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, and Bill Belichick. Yes, Bill Belichick is still up there as the greatest coach, in my opinion, but Kyle Shanahan is known for his offense. Sean McVay is known for his offense. Nate McDaniel, I think. Mike McDaniel, I think. The coach for the Dolphins. He's known for his offense. And now and you see what the Dolphins offense looks like. This is malpractice, in my opinion. Now, I know that might be a harsh word, but it is. Because how do you expect anybody to succeed when you don't have the proper keys in place to succeed? And and for people that's gonna say, well, what about the last game where Mac Jones threw for over almost 400 yards? Okay. I hear you there. I hear you loud and clear about Mac Jones throwing almost 400 yards. But let me find something real quick. I'm going to tell you the passing yards per game, or that he has thrown. All right. Boom. Let's start from week 1, shall we? And let's see the consistency that we're talking about, if there is any. Week 1, 213 yards, 252 yards, 321 yards. Then you miss 3 games. Oh, come back 13 yards, 194 yards, 147 yards, 246 yards, 382, and then 192. What does that sound to me? That sounds like a lack of consistency. Oh, even better. The average yards per throw, 5.4. Let's start week 1. 7.1, 7.2, 10 yards. 2.2, 5.5, 4.9, 9.1, 9.8, 5.1. Better yet, now I know that the season isn't over, but let's just look at the stats from last year to this year. Currently, at 9 games, Mac Jones has 270 passing attempts, 184 completions, an average of 7.3 yards, 1,963 yards, 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Been sacked 25 times. That is that's in 9 games. Last year, 352 completions, 521, 3,801 yards, 7.3 a carry, or 7.3 yards per pass, 22 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. Meaning we are halfway to the end of the season, and he's nowhere close to his touchdown average, and he's also nowhere close. But he's damn near halfway to his interceptions. And there's no way that you can look at that offense and think to yourself, well, maybe it's just Mac Jones. No. And on the Bills side, the more and more I watch this team, the more and more I don't know if they can win a Super Bowl because of the holes that I'm starting to see. Now, it's different if I start to see if these holes were in the beginning of the year, but this is coming towards the end of the year. Again, we're week 13. Actually, that's even worse for the Mac Jones thing. I apologize. That's games played. He played 9 games. We're at week 13. But back to the Bills. Josh Allen gets hit way too much. The offensive line isn't as good as I thought it would be. The run game isn't as consistent as it should be, and I'm starting to think it's not because the run game just isn't good. It's just because they don't utilize it. There was like 3 or 4 plays on Thursday night where Josh Allen should have got picked. It was just it couldn't been caught. So Josh Allen has that like hero mindset at times. And the defense, the only reason why the defense looked good is because of how bad the Patriots offense is. Not, and that wasn't because of the Bills defense. There was a lot of times where the player was open, it just couldn't get him because either Mac Jones was getting sacked or he just didn't see the person. There was one time where Jacoby Meyer was wide open in the middle of the Bills defense, and Mac Jones just oversold it. When you go against a team and I understand they beat them in the regular season, but when you go against a team like the Chiefs, or when you go against a high-powered offensive team, I don't know if this Bills defense can hold up. And it's when you get to a game like that, especially in the playoffs, the most minute details or minute mistakes can cost you a game. And I'm seeing a lot of mistakes from the Bills. The only reason why they won is because they're just a better team than the Patriots. But if they played a better team than the Patriots, or if they played a Ravens, even though the Ravens, we know about the Ravens and their losing leads history, but if they played the Ravens on Thursday, they probably would have lost. If they played the Dolphins, they probably would have lost. That's just, I'm not seeing consistency with the Bills. So I still think they're good enough to win. If they don't clean up the little mistakes, and I know it doesn't cost you when you're playing the 6-6 Patriots, but what happens when you're playing a defense that can catch those interceptions, or that can get to the quarterback a lot better than the Patriots? And the Patriots defense is good, but that can get to the quarterback a lot better than the Patriots did against Josh Allen. Or what happens when even though it's easier said than done because of how good he is. But what happens when you have a corner that can legit shut down? I'm not gonna say shut down, but can legit slow down, or a defensive scheme that can slow down Stephon Diggs. What do you do then? That's all I'm saying. And Gabe Davis is good too, but I'm just saying, But yeah, congratulations to the Bills for beating the Patriots 24-10. Deshaun Watson's back. It's been well documented what Deshaun Watson was suspended for. But Deshaun Watson's back. He's going to be he's going to start. Now, I didn't realize until they said it the other day that Deshaun Watson, when he plays on Sunday, this will be his first regular season game in 700 days. That's a long time, bro. That's a little less than 2 years. Deshaun Watson, you can feel how you feel about Deshaun Watson. You can believe what you want to believe. You can think, and I'm not saying that you're wrong for any of that. You can think he did what he did. You can not think he did what he did. The facts at hand is on Sunday, he will be starting. And unless something foreseen happens, tomorrow he will be starting for the Cleveland Browns. And just so happened, I talked about this before, but it just so happened that his first game is going to be in Houston. The scene in Houston will be, in my opinion, something unlike we've ever seen. You see, when you go to an away game, you expect to hear, the fans yelling and the fans chanting and obscene things. Hell, when I played college basketball, they would say crazy things on the road. They would go to the team's website and print out the roster. So they'd be like, number 25, Jalen Hunter. I'm like, why would you take, or they'll say some crazy things. You expect that in a away game. Expect that they have allegiance, they have loyalty to their team. So they're going to do everything possible to try to get into your head and try to assure that their team wins. So they're going to say some crazy things. And they also think and understand, like, there's no repercussions. But the level of vitriol that I think Deshaun Watson's going to see and going to experience is something unlike anything. There's already been reports that a lot of the women that have accused him of sexual misconduct will be at the game. I don't know why, but okay. So you already have that. You already have the fact that there's over 25 women that have accused him of sexual misconduct. 25 massage therapists that have accused him of sexual misconduct. You also have how Deshaun Watson's tenure ended in Houston. It's not going to be a pretty picture for Deshaun Watson. I will say this, though, and I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to look sharp. It would be shocking to me. I will say this, though. There could be. Because I remember Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson's first game back after the 2-year injury, or the 2 back-to-back injuries that cost him 2 years of his basketball career. He came back that first game, I think it was against Cleveland, and he looked great. He dunked on Lauri Markkanen, I believe. I think he had like maybe 20 points or something like that, 13 or 20, one of them two. But he looked great. He looked energetic. But he was running off emotion. He was running off what's that jump called? Stamina. He was running off adrenaline. That's it. And you see after that, he struggled mightily. And he's just now starting to resemble the Klay Thompson of old. So I think we're going to see one of two things. We're going to see Deshaun Watson struggle mightily because he hasn't played in 700 days. Or we're going to see him look great we're going to see him look great because it's just like you're running off adrenaline. But I don't know. I'm thinking it's probably going to be the first option. I think the Browns are going to win the game because the Browns are just a better team than the Texans. But you can feel how you feel about Deshaun Watson. You can think he should never be on a football field again. You could think he's going to be in the jail. He should be in the jail cell. Whatever you think, you're absolutely justified in thinking that. But the fact of the matter is he will be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. And that, I was about to say, and that's a fact, Jack. And that just is what it is. I will say, I don't think in this situation, seeing as though how much coverage it got, how many women came out and said it happened, his response to a lot of it, this doesn't seem like something that's going to go away with winning. I know that usually winning cures all, but this doesn't really seem like a story that's going to go away or a situation that's going to go away if the Cleveland Browns start winning. In fact, it might get even worse. That's the boat that the Cleveland Browns find themselves in. So, but with that, let me give my predictions for week 13. You have the Steelers at Falcons. I got the Falcons, but I will say this. I do like Kenny Pickett has looked better. He's looked a lot better. Of course, we know usually it takes time for a rookie to look good. Kenny Pickett has looked a lot better. You're in Atlanta, you're at the Dome. Marcus Mariota, at least right now, is a tad bit better than Kenny Pickett, in my opinion. I have the Falcons, even though I don't like either team. But TJ Watt will be playing, and TJ Watt is the best player on any team, on both teams. I'm gonna say the Falcons. Broncos at Ravens. I'm going to get the Ravens. I just haven't seen anything from the Broncos to think that they're going to turn it around. And the Ravens continue to blow double-digit leads. Now, what's going to help them in their favor is I don't think the Broncos have had a double-digit lead this entire season. So you got to worry about that. And the Ravens are at home. And they're coming off a loss, so I think that's going to kind of motivate them to get on track, especially with a bad team. And they also understand these games are really starting to matter now, seeing as though the Cincinnati Bengals are like tied with them in the AFC North race. So I have the Ravens winning that. Green Bay at Bears. I'm going to say Green Bay. I know the question between is Aaron Rodgers going to play and how long is he going to play? But the Bears are still one of the worst defenses in the league. And I understand that the Packers defense hasn't been good, but it is better than the Bears defense. And honestly, I even think if Jordan Love plays majority of maybe the second half or majority of the game, they can still win. I don't know if Justin Fields is going to play, so I have the Packers winning that even in Chicago. Jaguars at Lions. I have the Lions. The Lions are better than their record. Now, I will say that their record does reflect their problem, and that is they can't finish games because they're still one of the top scoring teams in the league, but they are also 4-7. They can't finish games, but Jared Goff has been playing well. Jamal Williams has been playing well. They've been a good coach team. Their defense has been playing really well. I have the Lions winning that. And you're in Detroit. I have the Lions winning that one. We just talked about the Browns at Texans. I have the Browns. Just because the Texans are the worst team in the league. Yeah. Jets at Vikings. I understand Mike White had an incredible game a week ago, but now you're playing against a 9-2. Now, I will say the problem with the Vikings is their defense. Their secondary has been giving up a lot of points and has been giving up a lot of big plays. However, I don't think I have the Vikings. I have the Vikings. I just don't think Mike White will be able to. I'm not gonna say he's gonna have a bad game, but I just have the Vikings winning this. The Vikings are better. Commanders at New York. I have the Commanders. I don't like what I've been seeing from New York. I don't like the last maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Is Saquon Barkley healthy? I think that the Commanders are supposed to be getting Chase Young back this game, and that's going to be big. The defense is already one of the top defenses in the league as far as stopping the run. Taylor Heineke has them playing different as far as more motivated, more energized. I have the Commanders winning this one. Titans at Eagles. I have the Eagles. I think offensively the Eagles are incredibly hard to stop with that run pass option. I have the Eagles. Seahawks at Rams. I have the Seahawks. The Rams have not been good. I don't know if Matthew Stafford's going to play. The Rams, I'm not. Now the Seahawks have kind of come to form as well, but I have the Seahawks. I just trust the Seahawks more from what I've seen this entire year than the Rams. Dolphins at 49ers. This is going to be a very good game. You have a defensive-laden team going against more of an offensive-laden team. I have the Dolphins. I have the Dolphins winning because of Tua. And I trust Tua more than I trust Jimmy G. Now, I will shout out the 49ers defense. I don't think they've given up a second-half touchdown since week 7. So shout out to them. And, Christian McCaffrey will be their feature back at this point because I think Elijah is I know Elijah's still hurt. But I have the Dolphins winning. Probably one of the biggest game of the week is the Chiefs at Bengals. I have the Chiefs winning. I know Jamar Chase is probably is coming back this game, and we do know what happened in the AFC Championship just a year ago. However, let's not forget. Now, of course, I know they didn't close it, but let's not forget the Chiefs were up damn near 21 points against the Bengals. I have the Chiefs winning. But I do think I think that's going to be the best game of the week, honestly. Chargers at Raiders. We do know what happened in the game before, to get to the wild card. I have the Chargers. Even though both teams have kind of underachieved, have underachieved a lot this year, especially talking about the Raiders. I just trust Justin Herbert more than I trust Derek Carr. And I know you can say, well, what about happened last time? Well, this time. And the Raiders, even though Josh Jacobs has been playing well, I just trust. I like the Chargers. I like Austin Eckler. I like, Keenan Allen has come back with a force. I have the Chargers. Colts at Cowboys. I have the Cowboys. The defense has been good. The run game has been incredible with Zeke and Tony Pollard. You're not asking Dak to do a lot. Plus, you're with Dalton Schultz has been great. CeeDee Lamb has been good. I have the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are at home, even though there's not really a home field advantage for the Cowboys because, I have the Cowboys winning. In Monday Night Football, Saints at Bucks. I have the Bucks. I don't like Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton sucks, in my opinion. And the Saints defense has underachieved this entire year. Now I know they've been riddled with injury, but even though the Bucks haven't been good, at least offensively, I just don't think that the Saints are going to beat them. Even though The Saints, as of recently, has had their calling card, but I don't trust it, so I have the Bucks. And that is my Week 13 prediction. So, what do you guys think? Let me know. We'll leave in the comments. Send me a message. I'll talk to you. And lastly, before we go, I just want to shine light and congratulate the WNBA for I think their season is going to start in May, and they're extending to 40 games. I didn't understand when Kelsey Plum came out and was like, we're not asking for equal revenue to the NBA. We're asking for they don't get money on their jersey sales or the sales of the WNBA, which is crazy to me. Look, I understand that the WNBA is not as popular as the NBA. I get that. I understand that it's not as flashy. I understand that it's not, the most dominant sport as far as popularity. But it's a sport, and it is a sport that thrives and continues to grow it continues to grow year after year. I don't know. I did hear a report that it loses money year after year, but it still grows in popularity. It still grows in attendance of games, and it's just like, I like the fact that it's going to 40 games. I don't know if it'll ever get to the 82 games 82 games as the NBA has, but we do know that the NBA more than likely is going to start taking away games. I think that they're trying to get in the 60 to 70 range. Yeah, man, it's crazy to me that you can be one of the highest selling jerseys, like Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson can be the highest selling WNBA jersey, but she makes absolutely no money from that. I didn't know that until Kelsey Plum said that. That's crazy. Or Breonna Stewart can be one of your most profitable players, but she makes no money from whatever her namesake is. That's crazy. That's crazy. Again, it just feels like always baby step. I'm not gonna say one step forward, two steps back. Baby steps. Let's. How is it that college basketball players can make more money in NIL deals than WNBA players can make on jersey sales? That's crazy. And there you have it. That has been today's episode of the Unpopular Podcast. I do appreciate you guys. If you want a Popular Podcast shirt, hoodie, sweater, long sleeve joggers, the link is in the description below. I have multiple different colors, multiple different designs. Get your Unpopular Podcast merch today. I promise you will not be disappointed. Also, please subscribe to if you're listening. Please subscribe to if you're watching. I appreciate the people that have subscribed and that continue to comment and continue to talk. Definitely means a lot. And until next time, much love.